What's up guys, it's Matt with Mojo Racing, and today we're going to finish our walk around of the Jeep and talk about the interior. Here we go. Alright, so kind of starting here up front, it still has the stock TJ dash in it. It's been cut up a little bit. Running a set of autometer gauges. It's got an aftermarket wheel, custom cage, 1 3/4 chromoly. The cage is honestly a big area of updating. It's been kind of added on and modified and changed over several years, and I think I'm going to start fresh and just go with a 2-inch cage. Planning on doing a little bit of a boat side, I think. I really like the design of like the goat built chassis. You gain quite a bit of clearance. They use like rectangular tubing on the inside. It gives a cage a nice place to land, and then gain 3-4 inches of side clearance, which is huge, especially since I'm limited to a 37-inch tire. That's going to help out a lot, I think, in the rocks and getting through some tight spots. So cage, definitely starting from scratch is the plan. Alright, so up front still has the stock TJ dash in here. The heater core, AC controls, all that stuff are still buried under here. You can see it's a little bit of a wiring mess already hanging out. Aftermarket autometer gauges with the dummy lights kind of built into them. Wheel, it's got the kind of little center console down here. The plans here are pull the dash out. I like the look of the stock dash. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I might just keep the kind of gauge pod here. Keep this. This is a radio, so I've got wakeboarding speakers back here in the back. It's actually really nice on the road. It also has a backup camera. It's actually here wired to this little switch above the winch controls. So planning to try and keep this. I might mount it a little more securely. It moves around quite a bit now. But pull the dash out, heater core, controls, radio, all that stuff that's buried under the dash is coming out to save some weight and free up some space under there. Dash bar on the cage. This is a big thing I want to change as well, and a reason for the cage modifications or redoing the cage. So sitting in the driver's seat, let me get it close here. This is kind of line of sight. What I would like to be able to do, move up here, is see at least out the tip of the hood. So if I take this dash bar and drop it down below the level of the dash where it is now, or just below the windshield frame, that's going to free up a lot of visibility out front. Let me sit lower in the car and have better visibility at the same time. So that's a big one for me. I do have up front, it is somewhere in the shop here, but I have a windshield frame that's been cut. It's just above this windshield bolt here, so it gives the Jeep kind of a nice finished look. It acts as kind of a little bit of a wind deflector. It gives it a place to mount the number plate for the front over there on that side. And honestly, it just looks a lot better with that on there than without it. So want to keep that dash bar height just at it, and again free up that visibility out to the front, to the hood. Helps with the spatial awareness when you're out in the rocks and trying to pick a line. And if you can see the front of that hood, you kind of know where your tires and stuff are going to fall, because out front, you can see the tires from an approach angle standpoint actually stick out just a little bit farther than where this hood line is. So if I can see here, I know where my tires are, and that's kind of the goal there. All right, seats. I had a set of Mastercraft seats. They're sitting way over there, buried under stuff now. Put in a set of PRP Tangos, also running PRP belts, 5-point belts in the 3-inch width. Alright, controls. Keeping this wheel. I don't know if I'm going to do a quick disconnect wheel yet or not. I'll just have to see once I get the cage done and my seating position figured out if I have problems or the wheel's in the way of getting in and out. But right now, that's just kind of way down on the list of stuff to do. The twin sticks for the Atlas are here. The way they're bent right now, the front selector sits right under my knee or right to the side of it, so I'm gonna rebend these and get them over. The gate shifter for the 4L80 is here. I plan to move it up next to the wheel to get just a little bit better reach of it, to get from, you know, forward to reverse in a hurry if I need to, or vice versa. Switches right now, they've just got a little rocker panel down here. You can't reach them strapped in. The plan there is to go to a Switch Pros and mount it probably, I'm going to rebuild the center console so it sits up a little higher. So shifter here, radio intercom over here, the Switch Pros down here next to the cutoff. All right, passenger side, again, I just bought 2 PRP Tangos. I still have no idea who my co-driver is, so if anybody is looking for a right seat in a race car, hit me up and we'll see if we can figure something out. But again, PRP Tango, PRP belts. It has this grab bar. It had a low rance mounted in it. The antenna is actually still up here on the cowl. I am planning to run an iPad with lead nav. I have a Bluetooth GPS receiver somewhere here in the shop, but definitely going to keep the grab bar here for the passenger. Alright, so moving on to the rear, we have a 22-gallon RCI fuel tank. It has dual pumps. So if you ever have a problem with one, you can take off your supply line and switch it over to the other pump and keep on trucking. Tool storage, I've got my kind of high lift jack in there on the bottom. Batteries mounted on the opposite side. Tool bags, fluids, that's all just kind of thrown in here from a wheel-in trip the other week. This is an area that I plan to change quite a bit. Right now the plan is to cut the floor out of the Jeep, which you can't see, but it still has the stock floor in here. So I'm going to cut it out, and that's going to let me drop everything down. You can see here about 1.5 inches or so from where it is now. And then it's also planned to take the fuel cell and move it forward as far as I can against the firewall in the new cage. And then that in turn will help me take my spare that's currently mounted up here, drop it down quite a bit. You can see right now I have quite a bit of clearance between it and the fuel cell, but the problem is access for the fuel fill is kind of limiting that. So if I shove the tank forward, it's going to let me run a clear tube out here to a fill neck out here on the side of the Jeep, drop the tank down, drop the spare down, take my tools and put them in the rear so I can access them from back there instead of having to climb in over stuff. Help get some of the weight down lower, get the CG a little lower on the car. Alright, I think that does it for this week on the Jeep, all the planned upgrades. Stick around, the next 2 videos are going to be pretty exciting. We've got one on Vegas to Reno. Chasing that race for Jay, and then another one, wheeling trip out to Uwharrie. Where I tore reverse out of the transmission, so should be good. Thanks guys, later.